Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we got to talk Love Island USA Season 7 postseason, and it is messier than ever. Messier than ever. There's rumors on whether or not Olandria is still a thing, if Olandria and Chelley are still friends or not, by an explosive comment by Olandria's mom and some reposts that she's doing. Here's the thing, you guys. Like I said, I'm still team Chelley and Olandria until one of them themselves come out and say the friendship is over or there is unfollowing. But you're here for all the facts. You guys are here for all the receipts. You guys are all here for an open mind. Here is my PSA to Olandria. Here is my PSA to Olandria. Tell your family and friends to get off the internet. Please tell your family and friends to get off the internet, you guys. Here's the problem. And I protected the name of Olandria's friend and Olandria's mom's account and everything else for privacy purposes. Here's my thing, right? All of these islanders are getting dragged up and down. All of these islanders are getting unalive threats. All of these islanders are getting all types of hate, all types of bullying, all types of this and all types of that. They have their own little unique bond in the villa for 6 weeks or whatever to, hey, some of them want to be friends with each other, some of them don't. And there were some points made about some of these islanders that when they came out and they saw the discourse from fans, whether the fans were on point or whether the fans were making up delusions in their head, there were some islanders that ran with the negativity, pushing the hate trains, pushing the negative discourse. What I don't want and what I didn't want to happen is this to infiltrate Chelley and Olandria or negatively impact Chelley and Olandria's friendship. Now, what is taking place? Because here's the thing. I want to start at the beginning. The beginning was while the show was airing. One of Olandria's good friends, have the tweet that you guys see in front of you, had said the following, you guys, in regards to Chelley. And this reminds me so much of Love Island UK Season 10, because this is the same foolishness that Whitney's sister did and Catherine's sister did, and her people did, and they were talking crazy about Ella. Now, Ella and Catherine are still friends, but Whitney and Ella are no longer friends, right? Now, Ella is biracial, and, Whitney and Catherine are black women. But this is what happens when the family decides and the friends decide to get on the internet. So this is what the friend had tweeted. Now, mind you, currently, this friend follows Chelley, but said this during the show. Olandria is still a deep chocolate girl compared to Chelley. That, in addition to her big lips, strong cheekbones, banging body, and intimidating energy, parentheses having standards, scares the average man off, which is why I say it's going to take somebody special to cherish her. Right? That came from a good friend of Olandria. There's receipts that they are good friends, right? Also, apparently, the makeup artist is liking messy reposts and everything else. But nonetheless, another incident had happened where Olandria's cousin was on a live, and I might have talked about it in a previous video. I'll have to find it. But they were talking about you need to watch who's in your inner circle. You need to watch who your friends are. And they were talking about Chelley. Chelley's sister got a wind of it and was not happy. And then the fan sent her hate and unalive threats and said that the cousin was talking about Clark. Now, please tell me, you guys, we are 2 months out the villa. We are a couple months out. When has Olandria and Clark been friends? When has Olandria and Clark hung out together? I'm just going to try to give you guys the facts and give y'all logic and give y'all sense, right? So that happened, right? And there have been several interviews that Olandria has done in which she has maintained that Chelley was her soul sister. You were not getting rid of Chelley for her. All of this, all of that. A couple of days ago, Chelley was just praising this friendship with Olandria. Was just praising the fact that they were, that was, her girl. She was putting her on to her favorite Caribbean music. She was happy that Olandria flew out to New York for Chelley's birthday. But then Chelley's birthday turned into a stand war about who cheered louder for who, and that the crowd was DEAD before Olandria got there. Like just weird behavior. Weird stand war behavior, which is why I tell you, when you fall into the trap of stand wars, it is going to end badly for you. It is going to end badly for you because you start losing sight of what is important. Now, we obviously know Ace set Love Island USA fandom ablaze with his interview with Speedy. No denying that. Ace was calling out everybody, right? Was calling out everybody, but was calling out in particular also friends of Chelley, Adrina, Sierra, and Olandria, even though Ace kept being backhanded with it, talking about, I love Olandria. Olandria's a beautiful woman. Olandria's my dog, this and that. But now, you guys, the family's been online, and there was a video on the Tickety Talk of a lady who said that because she is a mom, she's a mamacita. She's concerned about whether or not Olandria is still, well, in particular, if Nico Olandria is still friends with Chelley, still friends with Ace, and still friends with Taylor. And Olandria's mom got in the comments, and that is the screenshot in white that y'all see, in Blanca that y'all see. And in the comments says, trust me, I did just that with Olandria. Now, I do not know if that means that the Olandria and Chelley friendship, if the soul sistership is bones. I don't know what that means, because in this screenshot, Olandria's mom doesn't specifically say that. She doesn't specifically say, I'm done, that this is done, right? However, when we are in a place of stand wars, when we are in a place of personal attacks, by the way, Chelley's family is under attack, receiving a bunch of unalive threats, you guys, has been receiving the most hate since Ace's interview. Chelley has not uttered one word about this interview. She's not promoted this interview. She has not said anything about this interview, you guys. But for some reason, she's being made the face of Ace's interview. And I just have a question to ask y'all. Do y'all have family? Do y'all have friends? Do y'all have coworkers? Do you guys have significant others? Whether boyfriends, husbands, fiancés, whatever, that have said something, that have done something that you have disagreed with, that you have not been on board with. I just want to know. Because also, in doing this, it also revisits Olandria's manifestations of her own, right? Because you guys are big on all of the things Olandria used to tweet. So there also is a former tweet of Olandria herself that says, I hate how negative my family is. Child, I can't wait to move. So I'm just trying to figure out, with the fandom's pressure to have it so that Olandria and Chelley are no longer friends, if you want to make arguments about why Chelley is cool with Sierra, that's one thing, right? And then if you want to go in, why did Chelley in the interview FaceTime, Taylor when they asked her a question, who was her male villa bestie, and this and that, right? But then my question is, where is the energy for Nicolas, who has said that Taylor is his bestie in several interviews, and Taylor himself is not moving like a bestie to Nicolas, most importantly, for how he moved with Olandria in the villa. So I feel like the Taylor thing kind of cancels each other out in that sense, right? But my thing is this, right? Why don't you guys want these black women to be friends? We saw this in season 3 with the CashApp versus Trina saga. And y'all doing the same thing. Y'all said Trina had Eurocentric features and she just relies on pretty privilege and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And y'all doing the same thing to Chelley. Will not acknowledge that Chelley is a black woman. Will not acknowledge anything about Chelley at all. And for some reason, you have it in your mind that Chelley is this malicious and vindictive person. And then y'all want to bring up the timing of the interviews and the timing of when the stuff came out with Essence and Complex and everything else. Here's the thing, you guys. You cannot predict when these scheduled interviews are going to drop. You can tell by Chelley's hairstyle that this was filmed after the reunion, because to me it looked like Chelley had her natural hair and it had the same hairstyle, right? Same hairstyle, same hairline, the whole 9, right? So that would have been at the beginning of last week, right? At some point in time, or no, a couple of weeks ago, after the reunion was filmed. I'm sorry, a couple of weeks ago after the reunion was filmed. Was when Chelley had that hairstyle. So it was evident to me that these interviews were going to drop anyways after the reunion aired. So with that being said, the only interview that really shook everything up and kind of messed everything up was the Speedy interview that Ace decided to do on his own volition. Chelley was not there with him. Not much of that interview was actually discussed about Chelley, which I found pretty interesting. But you guys took a segment of his comments about Olandria, whether or not they were legit or lack thereof of a comment on whether or not they are legit. And that is what you decided to focus on out of an hour and 11 long interview. Now, will say that Ace should have focused in on his issue specifically with Nicolas. He should have specifically focused in on the fact that Nick did switch up on him when he got out the villa. That he would say in interviews, hey, I'm my own man. I make my own decisions. I'm not no minion. I'm not this. I'm not that. Switch the story on what it was between Ace and Amaya, and people have receipts of Nicolas, the same Nicolas, agreeing with Ace in the villa on everything he said about Amaya. And how he didn't like how Amaya was moving, but switched up outside the villa because obviously Amaya's the winner. So if you wanted to call Nicolas out on those things, I think that would have been a better idea. All you had to say about the Olandria component was, there's no comment. I have no comment on that, right? But that didn't happen. So now, instead of focusing on the issues at hand, the true issues at hand, between the Ace and Nicolas friendship, nobody cares. Nobody cares. The whole narrative now is Ace said Olandria is fake, or without saying they were fake, refused to give an answer. But the answer that he did give was that Nicolas said back in the villa that it was no romantic spark. And that was the same thing Ace said 2 months ago when they were doing their press run after him and Chelley got dumped from the villa. But y'all don't really care. All y'all care about is whacking Chelley. All y'all care about is wanting to see Chelley suffer humiliation, suffer unalive threats, and completely tear her down. And I don't get it. I do not get it. There have been several Islanders and a former host of this show on the UK side that have unalived themselves due to the online bullying, due to the online hate. Y'all have no smoke right now for Huda, who refuses still to this day to make a post condemning racism. Y'all have zero smoke for the people who called out some fans that were trying to set up Chelley's fans and lie about the George Floyd photo and had to post receipts that it really was Huda fans. And I have to do a video on that as well. But no smoke for Amaya and Iris hanging out with that same Huda who will not condemn the racism, the hate train, the bullying against Chelley and Olandria. But y'all are so happy to see black women pinned against each other, and I don't get it. But I wanted to give y'all the facts of where this hate train started on Chelley. Because it didn't start from Chelley, and it didn't start from Chelley's people. But Olandria, your family being online like this and fueling the hate train and fueling the stand wars and you not saying anything, it's giving you agree. It's giving you agree. But if that's the case, unfollow Chelley, unfollow Ace. But this is fueling a whole nother thing, a whole nother firestorm that is taking place on all the social medias, y'all. So there is that. That is it. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post some content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.